back. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Georgia for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will try not to be as long-winded as some in here are. I would say this: speech that's designed to intimidate is not free speech, and sometimes free speech can end up in a disagreement. But what's happening on these college campuses, that's not freedom of speech. It is designed to intimidate. Ultimately, it's theft by having classes taken away from people who have paid for them. And, you know, I honestly think some of it's being paid for. I think it's intentional, and I think it is being egged on by many of the enemies of this country. I don't think it is just anti-Israel. I think it is anti-American. I have seen on the last several bills that we have taken up, Mr. Chairman, I have seen a statement of administrative policies on 615, 764, 2925, 3195, 3397. Is there a reason that we don't have a statement of administrative policies on this piece of legislation from the Biden administration?
The gentleman should refer that question to the Biden administration.
Sir?
I think you need to direct that question to the Biden administration. The chair is not responsible.
Okay, well, I just think it's interesting that the Biden administration has given us a pretty blunt statement of administrative policies on all of the pieces of legislation so far that we've discussed, and yet they've stayed away from this particular piece of legislation, and I think that says a lot about the administration.
Will the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
So we were asked to accept a unanimous consent request about then President Trump's remarks about Charlottesville. I would also just like to enter into the record President Biden's comments about good people on both sides, because I think what you're bringing up reflects the fact that they don't know quite where they are on this. So I'm going to ask unanimous consent to add this to the record as well.
But I would, if I had it in front of me, I'd ask to submit for the record the CNN poll that shows that President Trump is actually leading President Biden. And the reason he's leading him is because most Americans know things like this are not freedom of speech, and they want it stopped in this country. And so, you know, again, I won't belabor the point of where we are, but I do want to suggest that, Mr. Fry, am I correct that there are 46 co-sponsors plus Mr. Lawler, the original sponsor? Is that correct?
That is my understanding, yes, sir.
And 13 of the co-sponsors are Democrat.
That's correct. And Mr. Scott, and you were behind me when I was facing here, so I'm not sure when you came in, but I will say that this bill, this exact bill, just passed in the South Carolina General Assembly unanimously. So again, I don't know what the other margins are in these other states, but it's only partisan when you cross the Potomac, it seems like.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I again, you know, what is happening on these college campuses, it is designed to intimidate. It is designed to shut down the schools. It is theft. It is not only anti-Israel, I believe it's anti-American. I hope that they're able to identify those, and any of them who have carried out any act of violence, if they're here on a student visa, that visa should be revoked, and they should have to pay for their own plane ticket home. With that, I yield.
Gentleman yields back. Chair, thanks, gentlemen.